What up? Welcome to Saint Nouan's podcast. I wanted to take us on another field trip. All right, this is field trip 5, and I'm just riding out the vape. I get a chance to expand my mind being trapped in this house every now and again when I get an opportunity to have a vape, and I really like to look into things and try to understand the world around me, because it's a mysterious world. And considering the monstrosity in the numbers of things that we hoard on the earth, I realize how small I am in comparison to things we produce in Mariana's Trench in the sea. Me weighing 175 pounds. I'm not that much at all, not even a speck of sand. But I find it mysterious, the numbers of things that we have and options available. Since the early days in the frontier where people rode on horses, now we shop in grocery stores. So much produce to pick from with so little farms. Where does it come from? Even if it came from corporate, we can't have it all. We're exceedingly spoiled and took things for granted. And now that I look around this world, people are walking around like zombies. Maybe we did a lot better when things weren't so easier. It challenged our minds and we had imagination, but now we don't have it. We just turn on PlayStation and play for hours. Video games is a saving grace to a degree, in the fact that it's interactive and watching TV is passive, and the mind just stays in a certain brain wave state. Walking through life not asking many questions, they used to be admired. A lot has changed. But in this field trip, I want to carry on from the M&M's Legit field trip, okay? The M&M's Legit field trip is where I broke down that M&M's candies needed to sell approximately 1 million units per day to break even. To pay all their employees. An M&M's unit is sold for $2. They make approximately $770.2 million per year. And they have 2,800 employees. In order for them to pay all their employees based upon their annual income, they would need to sell 1 million units approximately of M&M's per day. They make 400 M&M's per day. There's 56 M&M's per bag, per unit. They make 4 times the amount they need to sell per day. And at the end of each week, each warehouse makes 20 billion. No, at the end of each week, each warehouse makes 10 billion M&Ms. They have 20 billion. They make 20 billion M&Ms. Candies in total makes 20 billion M&Ms per week. And it takes 56 M&Ms per unit. And they need to sell 1 million of those units per day to break even annually without fail in order to cover the salary of their employees. But if their employees got paid evenly, getting paid $15 an hour, they would make $275,000 per year. And we know not everyone gets paid the same wage. M&M's employs 2,800 people. That includes corporate down to the truck drivers and distribution centers and warehouses and candy stores specified for M&M alone. So M&M is a beast in the game and has some deep pockets, but I want to carry on from that and talk about distribution a little bit. There are 510,000 warehouses in the United States. All right? There's 510,000 warehouses in the United States. There are approximately 3.5 million truckers in the United States, which means if M&M's has 2 warehouses and moves 1 million units per day to break even, how many M&M boxes can be delivered countrywide? Okay? Between 510,000 warehouses, there is an average of 7 trucks per warehouse. Okay? So between 3.5 million truckers, of these 510,000 warehouses, you would get 7 truckers if there was an average at each warehouse. That boils down to 7 truckers at each warehouse. All right? I want to ask you, if 1 million units of M&M products can fit on 7 to 14 trucks, that's a lot of units. When I say a unit, is when you go to the checkout center or the self-checkout or whatever, and they have the candy up there, you grab 1 M&M bag. That's 1 unit. All right? Between 7 to 14 semi-trucks, can you fit 1 million units of M&Ms per day? Remember, it's a daily thing, right? Because they got to get 1 million units sold per day. All right? To break even, just for, you know what I'm saying, for salary. That's if their entire $770.2 million that they make per year, that they spent all of that money just to pay salaries to break even though we know employees don't get paid $275,000 to work in a warehouse. Okay? I want to know, just for the sales, if I let all that go, how do you move 1 million units of M&Ms between 7 to 14 trucks countrywide to all the stores and outlets that sell M&Ms? Okay? That would be a very difficult task, regarding maybe somebody buys a couple M&Ms at this store, someone else buys it at a couple M&Ms at this store, and both of these distribution centers for M&Ms are on the East Coast, New Jersey and Tennessee. So that means they have to trek it all the way down to California. Unless you want to, if we start thinking about airplanes and airline deliveries as well. Okay? 1 million units of M&Ms. All right? So if you take 1 million, okay, and you divide it by 7, this is, for 7 trucks, right? You come up with 142,857 units. Okay? 142,857 units. Okay? That you need to fit on each truck. Now, if you break that down into the 2 distribution centers that M&M's owns, they would have to put 71,428 boxes between the 14 trucks. So that's more realistic. Let's say they got 14. And you say, what about the other 3.5 million truckers? Well, they have to go to other distribution centers and warehouses, so they're all tied up. I'm saying that what's allotted for M&M, considering the average ratio, the most I could find out would be between 7 to 14 trucks, given the fact they have 2 locations and they have to deliver countrywide. And on each of these trucks, they would have to fit 71,428 units between 14 trucks. Okay? That is a lot of candy. That is a lot of candy. So hypothetically, I am estimating that if you take a unit of plain M&Ms, not even the peanut, right? Because the peanut M&Ms are larger. If you took plain M&Ms, you know, by the unit, and you had like, you get those boxes from U-Haul, and you have the one with the clothing rack in it. You know what I'm saying? Where you can hang up your clothes. It's like a tall box. All right. You would be able to approximately fit 2,000 units of plain M&Ms in one of those boxes. Okay. Now, how many of those boxes can you hypothetically fit on a semi truck? And even though you could fit a lot on a semi truck, all right, across 14 trucks, okay, you would have to I'm sorry, I'm just checking my math here. You would have to be able to fit 71, okay, approximately 71,000, okay, M&M units on each truck. What you will find is that it's astronomically fucking impossible for M&Ms to distribute all that damn candy. And we ain't even talking about women here. 71,000 units. This is incredible. This is guaranteed sales that must be sold. So it has to go out at least 1 million units per day. Okay? Now, just to keep everything moving in the system, if the trucks run 70 hours per week, how often will the same trucks return to the original two warehouses of M&Ms per day? That means all 14 of these trucks can't return to the resident spot of M&Ms every single day, but they have to pick up, you know what I'm saying? They have to pick up, you know, another, you know, each 7 trucks. Each of the 7 trucks will have to pick up, okay, approximately 10.5 thousand. That's the correct number. It's 71,000 per 7 trucks. Okay, so they will still have to pick up approximately 10,500 units per truck, which would still be impossible because they have to return. First of all, it won't fit. Second of all, they have to return to that store the next day to each truck driver to pick up another 10,500 units. Okay? Because it's going out countrywide and this thing has to be sold every single day. I mean, if the city was an organism, M&M's would be like a major artery or a heart at least that is pumping out semi-truck after semi-truck to reach all the locations. And you got to think, like California has around like 27,000 odd, warehouses just in that state. Texas has 21 odd thousand warehouses in that state. And this is just coming from the main warehouse of M&M's to get to distribution centers, and then those distribution centers for those truck drivers to drive it to other designated spots. So it may be possible that they're able to deliver to major distribution centers and offload some boxes, but are they able to do that countrywide from 2 East Coast warehouses to return every single day? I mean, people do incredible things, man. I see incredible things that people post up on YouTube from TikTok and things of this nature, but just the mundane things that people overlook. This is fucking insane. These truckers have got to be insane. Okay? They got to be working their fucking ass off, dude. Think about that. This is just M&M's. Imagine all the other companies. Remember, I told you, how many products does Walmart sell? So Score, Fifth Avenue, all these name brand products that are inside Walmart, these clothes and shoes that no one's ever heard of before, that they sell at good prices. All this produce in different stores and different types of celery. All these things that we're spoiled with perishable dates, trying to eat them before a time so they don't get spoiled, while we get spoiled by our options, never running out of them. Isn't it interesting how the Matrix works? Okay. So if the trucks run 70 hours per week, how often will the same trucks return to the original 2 warehouses of M&M's per day if the warehouses supply countrywide? All right. That is a lot of routes narrowed down to approximately 14 trucks provided 2 warehouses. If we cannot sort this, how many trucks would M&M's need provided both warehouses are on the East Coast, provided what they need to sell daily countrywide? So if they were able to have more than the allotted average of 7 trucks per warehouse, and we say they would have to have that. But you have to also take in consideration of all the other businesses and outlets and things that are sold in stores such as Walmart, which I consider to be an American store that predominantly has American products from labels and places that you've never heard of, and it's full all the time with options. How many more truck drivers is M&M allowed to have between their 2 warehouses to deliver the bottom line of a daily value of 1 million units? If they use airplanes, take for instance, let's say they ship using airplanes to get to the West Coast in Hawaii. Okay? How many airplanes are used for distribution? Just in general in the United States. And you know what? I couldn't find a number. And I bet you there's a reason why. How many UPS airplanes or FedEx airplanes have you seen in your lifetime, and where do they land? How many stations of hangars and in what places have you seen them, given UPS and FedEx fly their own planes? You may see a UPS plane, there are UPS planes, but do you see them at commercial places, commercial airlines? You don't really see them there. Do you ever see a UPS logo flying in the air? UPS brands their airplanes. Do you ever see a FedEx airplane? Have you ever seen this? Where are their pilots? Do you know of any pilots? Because there would have to be many. But they're not. This is just to distribute in the United States alone. USPS uses commercial airlines. But where do those packages get sorted? USPS, the United States Postal Service, uses commercial airlines. Like they'll fly Alaska or Southwest. They'll ship their packages through there. Allegedly, according to Google. But I mean, we got the baggage claim and all that stuff and what have you. Do they have a warehouse at the airport for them to sort, distribution and mail? You know what I'm saying? So considering these things, like, how many airplanes do you see? Do you see as many airplanes as you see semi-trucks? And considering semi-trucks, do you really see 3.5 million semi-trucks in motion at all times? Because that's what it would take to keep this country running. To be honest, we got a lot of land over here. Airplanes would be flying all the time. Everybody would be tired of them. How is it possible for M&M? It's just me saying, let me just take a business here. I'm not picking on M&Ms. I like M&Ms, but I'm just saying, like, these corporations, how much does a guarantee cost? How do you keep that business running? How do you keep those 2,800 employees fed? And if you misunderstand what I'm saying, is I'm pointing out things pertaining to the Matrix. But listen to me clearly, a guy that can't get a job. Thank you, M&Ms, for keeping those 2,800 employees fed. For keeping food on their table and for supplying their families, allowing, them to be able to finance education and school and giving people jobs or go on vacation or have medical or dental insurance. All of these things are great things. They are. And this is not to audit M&Ms or to take away any sort of thing like this. This is just me saying, and not me pointing at M&Ms. It's me pointing at distribution, and it's me pointing at all the other businesses. Take, for instance, this left turn. If you don't go with M&Ms and go with a smaller company, okay? How does a smaller company make it that has made it for so long? And how does it have a core audience through generations to supply? How do you make that guarantee unless there's something interdimensional or something pertaining to time and portals? Considering different realms and markets, things being centralized, different levels to reality, is the only way that all these things can come together. Even if there was hypothetically dirty money, these things are far too mysterious, aren't they? This has been another edition of St. Nouan's Field Trip. This is Field Trip 5. And it's over distribution. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out.